All right, so we got Justin Taylor from Alborn. How's it going, man?
Good man, how you doing?
Doing great, man. I was just checking out your music and I'm just blown away. It's like rock is definitely here to stay, and I'm really excited to get into this.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Last year, you guys were out with Seven Dust and Plush. How was that for you?
That was really good. Transportation wise, it was horrible. We
Oh,
had
shit.
major malfunctions on our transportation, but other than that, the shows were great. There was a hurricane that came through one. There was a close call. We were just about they were just about to cancel the show, but it was a good thing it passed and we ended up playing. That ended up being like the best one of the whole thing. But yeah, it was good. It was real good.
Yeah, I mean, you have Seven Dust who are still holding down the fort after all these years, and then Plush is, keeping the alternative flame alive. I was checking them out, all female energy, really good.
Yeah, yeah, they're awesome.
And then toward the end of the year, you did some writing and recording with Chris Collier and Fluff Harvey, and they were also working with Korn. And how was that experience for you?
That was cool. Because at the time we'd really just worked with the same group, so that was like the first time we really branched out with somebody new. And I assume it goes with anything, like anybody else that you work with, you just learn so much more because everybody tackles songwriting and producing in their own way, in a totally different way. So it was a real big learning curve the whole time. We learned a lot from them, but yeah, I hope to keep working with them. That was a good time.
Yeah, and when I listen to your sound and listen to the bands that you've been playing with, it really takes me back. And like I said, it's this just longing for heavy music that's just been long, like, I don't know if it's been pushed away or just been in hiding for many, many years. And I want to, I'm wondering if you can go further back to when you were a kid, just getting into music. What was your musical environment like?
It was ironically nothing like what we play.
Oh,
Like
wow.
my dad and my brother had a band when I was, I think, 5, and we were playing like Creedence Clearwater is the one that always comes to mind, but like a lot of 70s, 80s stuff.
Cool.
And then it kind of just got into like that grunge era stuff. Me and my brother started doing with another kid. And then I think my mom and dad were on a walk and found, like, by our high school, found a burnt copy of a Slipknot CD, their first one, and that like opened the floodgates. And then it was just, for me, it was heavy, nothing else for like 10 years. And now I can branch back, I can listen to the old stuff again. But yeah, it mainly started out with a lot of the like easier 70s, 80s rock.
That's cool. It's classic. It builds that foundation. And then, eventually when you want like harder, heavier stuff, nothing on those bands because they do have heavy moments, but that
Mm-hmm.
pure heaviness is found like later in time. And it's cool to have that kind of hodgepodge of both the grunge and the heavier metal stuff, which I do find is present in your music. And as far as your early musical efforts before Alborn, what were they like in the same way?
Like genre wise, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was all just cover stuff. We played
Cover bands.
yeah, that was like from the age 5 to probably 13. We played, my dad had us playing out quite a bit. And then when I was 13, he got me like one of them little digital 4 tracks, and I started just making demos, and genre wise, they were all over the place. And then I didn't really have a band until Alborn. It was me and the drummer, Alex, was the first one that I got. That's he's still in it. And we just started building. I mean, we didn't even really know what we wanted to do. I think we just wanted to kick ass. Like that was the only motive. We're like,
Pretty
we just want
much.
to, like, we want a punchy sound. We want, like, as soon as you play live, you know what's going on. And then yeah, it just kind of developed its own thing until like now, whatever we are. I mean, I don't even know what to call it, like it's I don't think it's as I really don't think our sound is as unique as I think it is, but like, when you're involved in the writing process and you go through it step by step, you you know exactly what everything is individually. You know what every rhythm guitar is, lead guitar, vocal, harmony. So you can piece together your own idea of what you think the song is. The listener, it's always different.
Also, like when it comes to band members and translating that into a group setting, because I know that can be a little bit contentious when you're so set on an idea. And so, based on what you've told me, Alborn is very much a clean slate for you.
Yeah, pretty much. And the best part for that is like our drummer has never been in a band before, and our bassist had been in he had been in a few, but nothing where I don't know, nothing where like creatively it was this serious, I guess maybe. So like us three especially always lock in with the like we all know what sound
Right.
we want, and working together is really easy. Our guitarist came from a band where he was the sole writer, and he's been with us I think 4 years now, and it took a while with him because he didn't want to lose the ability to write. So it was it took a while, but even now it's cool because he always has totally different ideas than we do. And then it's harder on him because he has to convince us, to an extent, but it added that extra thing that I feel like we needed to just not sound the same. You know what I mean? Like it just he helps us branch out more than I think we ever would.
It's good, man. And so you kicked off 2020 with Imperative, and the first song got a pretty decent response. How was that for you in terms of kind of putting that first EP out and realizing, hey, we have something here?
It was nice to just finally like leave the starting line, because it had been so much prep and behind the scenes shit. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
even really what it's been for the last 2 years with the EP that's coming out now. It's just like as soon as we got uh, motion with Imperative, it was kind of when everything shut down, and then it was just right back to the drawing board. We're like, damn it, we just got going, but so we're picking up now. But that initial thing, it was cool. The response was cool. It was surprising. You never know, that's a vulnerable thing to put out original music, especially being a singer and it's your lyrics and stuff. It's weird and it's uncomfortable, but like if at the end of the day, if you're super happy with it, fuck it, then it doesn't matter, like if people don't like it, it's like, well, I like it, so I'm good with that. I think
Yeah, and
that
I like
attitude.
it. I like it all the same. And I mean, you mentioned your original stuff, but it actually has a cover, right? "We Die Young," Alice in
Yeah,
Chains from Facelift, and you guys made it your own. And it's it's really interesting because it's not only it doesn't only take advantage of the heaviness, but also like the spaciousness. How did you go about? You mentioned working with those guys before. Did you go about it the same way, or was it like a self-produced thing?
we did a lot of that here on our own, and I wanted to keep that. Our approach to that was weird. I lately Lane Staley is like probably my favorite vocalist,
Of
but
course,
him,
it
him
comes
and
through, man.
yeah. Him and Cantrell's like harmonies and even the vocal pitch on that song is so good that I didn't want to change that, but I
Hmm.
wanted to change the key of the song. So we changed it. We dropped it 6 keys to where it would make sense for the vocals to stay exactly the same, but the guitar is tuned way down. So it'd be like if you heard the isolated vocal track, it would be exactly like the original, but the music is way detuned, you know?
And even for the time in 1990 when that original song came out, it sounded a lot different from, when Alice in Chains first came out, they were
Oh
touted to
yeah.
be the next Helix.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But they ended up changing the game. And in the same way, even with, the saturation and so many different scenes in the early 2020s, it seems like a free fall, but to the same extent, no one's ashamed. It seems like no one's really ashamed about like putting their influences out, like saying, "I listen to this band. Fuck you if you don't understand."
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's absolutely the case. I mean, uh, I'm lucky enough to have an incredible vocalist. Nate, our guitarist, is an unbelievable vocalist. Razor, our drummer, can scream his ass off. So, like, of course, if you're going to get the comparisons to anybody else that does that, whether it's Chains, we get that comparison a lot vocally, or Seven Dust because a drummer screams. It's like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And damn right we listen to them guys, and that's okay. We're not trying to hide that, we're not trying
yeah.
to copy them, but we're not trying to hide it.
And then, so your new EP, Push, definitely has like a bit of it has like a more, I guess you can say, like a punchier kind of sound. When you listen to both EPs back to back, what do you think?
I'm amazed at just the progression, like
Yeah.
I mean, in every sense of the way, like song writing progression, mix progression, lyric progress, like every it's just funny to see the improvement, because at the time it's like, I remember putting Imperative out. I'm like, this is the best shit we've ever done. We're never
Right,
gonna
right.
top this. And then this EP, like listening back to them, like, we're never gonna top this, So I hope we can keep that feeling going, but that's definitely what it's been for me, at least.
Hmm. And as far as like the other songs that you have in the vault, how are they going? Are they germinating in the same sort of process, the same sort of speed?
Yeah, yeah. We have like, I think 90 some working demos right now. And that
Holy
we
shit, that's like
it's
an
been
entire
nonstop.
like
Yeah, it's bad. But then like when it's all of us writing together, the songs usually stay really close to like our familiar realm, And like when Nate writes by himself, he branches off into his own sound, which is more commonly a more lyrically, vocally driven type song, And then when I write by myself, I typically go like any other direction. Like I
right,
want I
right.
want weird just shit we haven't done, Like even right before
Yeah,
we
shit
start
out of
talking,
song. See, would you consider these like structural kind of blueprints or like rudiments, or are these like, would you consider these like, oh, these are fucking songs now? Like, there's
it
no
just takes
question.
time, It just depends. Like every song, it could be the next one. I mean, Push, every song off the EP was written right where I'm sitting, So I mean, we wrote some the same day as some of those songs that we haven't touched them, it depends on like and the guy, we all know there's an energy you get when you hear one and you're like, oh shit, this is gonna be something, versus somewhere it's like, yeah, just we gotta open it up again and work on it a little more or whatever, And somebody told me one time that for every 10 songs there's one good one or something when you're writing. And I thought that was such bullshit, but now I'm catching myself like doing it. I'm like picking 10 songs. I'm like, all right, I guess I got to can all of them but one,
There's some truth to it. There's some exceptions where, like, yeah, 10 of these are songs, but, like, you want that one good song.
Yeah. Yeah. But then what do you do when you narrow them down to 10 of the 10 that you picked out, Now you're left with one
It's
song.
a whole other contention, man. I've been there. But in the 3 years since you guys debuted, do you feel that you're a lot stronger now? You're a lot more bonded?
Yeah, there's been a lot of like there we didn't have like any conflict in our band. Like I
Oh,
feel
that's
like
good.
especially with the other bands that we've worked with, I just there's something different about us as a group. Like there's just no bullshit, ever. And like in the last 6 months has probably been the most bullshit that there's ever been. And it's been very minuscule, but it's like a couple of them random moments here and there where you're like, oh shit, are we fighting right now? So it's like it's been good to experience that before we're neck and neck for weeks on end.
It
We get to
shows
kind of
like
test
a
each other
considerable amount of maturity for you to be at least aware of what's happening.
for
Like you're
sure.
getting into this, like a little bit of contention with your buddy, and you're like, wait, am I pissing him off right now? Dude, am I pissing you off right now? Or
Mm,
like, are we getting into a fight? If you didn't know that, then it's like, then it's, you need to, help yourself, and you do a lot of soul searching. But
yeah.
that goes to show that, especially now, that you have grown.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean we've put so much of the rest of our life for whatever that would have been on hold just for this. And it's been a long time of feeling like we're getting kicked in the ass, with the COVID stuff and other plans that fell through. It's just kind of been just getting shoved over time and time again to where like right now we leave for tour in a week and a half, and it's like this is what we've been working towards is this EP and a tour basically our entire career
You excited for
band.
the tour though?
Oh yeah, yeah, we're
I
all
mean,
we're all
this is pretty much nonstop. I mean, not nonstop, but it's like going like pretty much like, all month that time.
yeah. I didn't pay attention to the dates
Yeah, but it's
until
pretty
it
much
was already locked
it's
in.
constant, man. It's like one after the other.
Yeah, I was like, I was trying to practice for a good, like, I was really comfortable with 4 days in a row. I'm like, that shouldn't be a problem. And I looked at him like, it's six days in a row. I'm like, oh, so we'll see, man. We will see.
And then putting it all into perspective with the career that you've had thus far, and being able to write, being able to play shows, what have you learned about yourself, not only as a musician, but as a person?
I can talk to people. Like I couldn't do that before. Like I think like I worked at a hardware store when I was in high school, and that gave me people skills, but it didn't make me like people. I just didn't. It was just small town shit or whatever the reason was. I just couldn't get along, couldn't, never had anything to talk about. So it's not that I want to talk about me or the band at shows, but we have something in common to talk about. So that's like a foundation. And like now, that's my favorite part of this band. I think is meeting new people, and
It,
that has just been the biggest revelation.
that's awesome, man. What you said really resonated with me, because I still fuck up sometimes with what I plan to say. Like I still chew on my words, but I've been doing this interview shit for Music Existence for 7 years now, and
Wow.
I'll tell you, when I first interviewed Chan Kinchler of Blues Traveler, I was literally like, your first show, yeah, what's that like? And
Yeah.
it really reminds me of me when I started out. But I'm glad to be doing this. I'm glad to be talking with passionate people like you, who are, not afraid to show their influences, and have a really good setup that they keep to and they stick to. And the most important thing, they have a good bond with their bandmates.
Yeah, and like even a bond with the fans, and I mean, I'm like really good friends with a lot of our fans,
That's
and
good,
like
man.
how they connect to music, to the lyrics that I write. I never intended for that. You know, like I write that shit for me. So then when I hear about stories of shit that they've gone through, and they said that whether or not they say it helped them with it or whatever, if they even understand it, it's like it's made me keep cracking open to make these songs deeper. And it's kind of shitty. It gets, you get really vulnerable, and then
Yeah.
like it's almost like therapy, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was just fine before I was writing these songs about shit that matters. You know, when I was singing about randomness, it was easy. But now that it's like I'm really trying to make it mean something, it can get brutal emotionally, man. It's weird. But then, you know, like I said, when it's something that people can connect with and like understand, then it's like, okay, that was worth it, you know?
It's really good, man. And last thing, anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Thanks for the patience. We don't put out music nearly as often as everybody else, so I'm glad. I mean, we put out Push last week, and everybody was there for it, you know. And if we need pre-saves, we need likes, we need whatever it may be, and they're always there. So that's that's a special thing. I think the people that we got are like they're in it for the long haul. So that's just a big thank you, you know. It's crazy stuff.